Hi and welcome, Taurus and Taurus identifying people, to this Taurus inspired reading. I am working with the system of the tarot and Western astrology to give you maybe a little bit of a new perspective, an image, a picture you can work with in your own path of self-development and understanding, growing, learning. I am not your typical fortune teller. I am not going to tell you the future, what to do. I'm just providing you a little insight, maybe, hopefully. So let's see what wants to come out for this time in November. And you can use this anytime you feel drawn to this, of course. And we are gonna talk about general energy in the first part of the reading. Second part, we will talk about relationship dynamics. So let's go. Let's go. Ooh, Seven of Swords. Well. I need a little more context. Four of Swords. A lot of thinking. Not necessarily always a bad thing, but ooh, there is a nice little Earth card coming out that is also somehow connected to Taurus, the Knight of Pentacles. All right, so we are still standing in our power. We are still standing in our connected, loving energy. We have a Two of Cups here on the bottom of the deck, even though there might be a lot of mental activity going on. It is beautiful that we have a Two of Cups here on the bottom of the deck, because it is all rooted in love, rooted in connection, rooted also in connection to the outside. It's not so much, the Two of Cups is not so much just the connection to ourselves, but really also connecting to people, places, animals, loved ones, that we really feel close to. So this might be the topic, even though we will talk about relationships a little later in detail. But yeah, we are here really thinking, how can we stay in our stability, maybe? How can we stay connected to the people we love, or to the things, the places, the environments, the activities we love? And how can we not get thrown off by our own mind and, I think, doubts? Because the Seven of Swords for me is a card that represents doubts often, or all the reasons why we cannot do something that we want to or that we feel like doing. This is our mind really giving us all the, facts, critical facts that speak against truth that we carry. And I like to say with this card, with the Seven of Swords, yes, it might be true that there might be reasons why something cannot work, or something cannot go the way we want to, but those reasons can exist, and at the same time we can still succeed. It's not necessarily one way or another, It's just, what do we give more weight? What type of truths in our mind we want to encourage? What do we want to really put in the foreground? And this is represented by this big sword in the middle of the card. And these other six swords that are kind of going against this one big sword in the middle of the card are all these reasons and all these thoughts and all these doubts and all these opinions maybe that speak against something, and it can be very real. I'm not saying that it's not existing, but how much weight do we want to give to those things? And when do we maybe want to look away a little bit? And that's the tricky, the switch around with this card, because this Seven of Swords often is also referred to as criminal energy or trickster energy, or looking away from certain facts and overlooking facts, or maybe even purposefully overlooking facts, and really trying to trick ourselves through a situation, even though these things are there, but we still want to, go to a place, to the end goal, and have a strategy. And it's a very short-term strategy to come back maybe to a stable place. And if we want to read it from a more positive angle, we can also say, okay, maybe we don't want to look too much at certain facts right now that speak against something where we want to go, because we know that our behavior and our destination is still a loving, caring, and real, authentic connection. And that is rooted in love. So yeah, maybe don't look at all the details that your mind is suggesting, you know, don't believe everything you think, even though there might be some truth behind it, but some truths can exist at the same time. It is really more about how much, well, what do we want to really, what is our essential truth? And the essential truth is, of course, rooted in love. With the fourth swords here, that is also playing into this picture, we do have this idea that we might have retreated a little bit to let our mind also calm down and relax and even out, and therefore new truths, new thoughts have emerged. That might help us even get faster to this place of stability and security and groundedness and establishment that we want to go to. So the Four of Swords here, I think, is very beneficial. It's interesting that it is sort of resulting in the Seven of Swords, but maybe the result of just giving yourself rest, giving yourself space, letting your mind process things by itself, maybe meditating, taking a nap, you know. The results of that could often be like a new quick strategy where we're like, okay, don't pay attention to all the details. We want to go back to a place where we feel stable, secure, grounded, and also in our loving and open and nurturing energy. Love it. Simple, clear to the point. Not much more to say. Let's see what the relationships show. So this can be any relationship, doesn't have to be romantic, doesn't have to be a love interest. Of course it can be. In the meantime, please check out my description box or like, subscribe, comment. You find everything you need down there. And thank you for being here, my dear guests. All right, so this is you and another person. As I said, it can be any type of relationship or friendship. This other person, the Chariot in the reverse. Well, somebody has some hesitation maybe to go a new direction or a new path, or has some anxiety to really step into maybe a little more unclear path out of some security. This is a card for me often of anxiety, or even, you know, stage fever or something. Like they know there is a big step, or we know there's a big step into a direction, and we have a little bit of a hard time really building up the courage to go. It's like this moment of the jump, or the, not necessarily the jump, the going into the unexpected. And the Chariot is a very intuitive card, and when it's in the reverse, sometimes our fears can get, you know, a hold of us, and we can get a little stuck. I like that in this card there is this big moon, because it also represents somewhat the unknown, and maybe you're waiting for somebody to take a step, you know, or to have the faith or to trust themselves enough to go into a direction, and it's just hard right now. You could be dealing with a Cancer, maybe. Cancer we have here 2 times. Also, this card is a Cancer card. If it's not Cancer, it could be about loving and nurturing energy surrounding you. Motherly energy also. The Two of Candles in the reverse. Yeah, I mean, that's like this funny stalemate type of energy, you know, when somebody is not moving, then we are not acting. So this is, I feel like, it's a weight a little bit of a waiting position right now. I think you're waiting out of, it's a very strategic decision to wait with the Queen of Needles here on the bottom of the deck. She's the smart, strategic and analytical queen, still coming from a place of love. She's upright, she has the best interest in mind, and it's probably now the smartest thing to do to just not do anything, to not act. Two of Candles in the reverse. It doesn't give me undecisiveness in this case, because we do have a Queen of Needles here and she's very decisive. She knows exactly why she's doing something and what she is doing. It's probably the smart thing to do to just not act right now and give somebody, and I had that energy in another reading before, similar energy also with the Chariot in the reverse, where it's like, okay, maybe we just need to, if we really want to bring out the best in another person, and if we want to make them grow or help them grow, we cannot make anybody anything, but help them be their best self or the most courageous self. They kind of have to take that step by themselves. And I feel like our receptive and non-acting energy will encourage them maybe more to take a step into a direction. This could also be, for some reason, it could be a work environment where you have, you know, a position where you might be dealing with somebody that also has to go a new direction, and you're kind of maybe a supervisor or like above them a little bit in the hierarchy, and you know the smartest thing to do is just let them make that, or give them the space to make that step on their own, or make that experience on their own. And it's very smart and very analytical at the same time. So let's see what connects these two energies. Nine of Potions, love it, perfect, yes. From the Eight of Potions, that's the Eight of Cups, to the Nine of Cups. This is very beautiful. First of all, it could be very simple, being like, okay, I'm just too lazy to deal with that. It's not my responsibility, or I don't wanna, you know, it's not, seems like I don't wanna go up and do that for somebody, as simple put as that, you know, because the Eight of Cups is sometimes a little bit of a stuck, lazy, I don't want to say, but like slow energy, where we have to really, where we're a little exhausted emotionally, and we're like, ugh, it's hard to get up and do the thing. It's like an emotional hangover a little bit. But it's fine, because we have the Nine of Cups here that is connecting this, and it's really just like a good indication of an emotional independence. Nobody is dependent here on the other person, you know, to deal with an emotional situation that is their own responsibility. And I really like that. And both parties here do understand that we can still keep the lightness in our connection, and the independence and the fun and the happiness, because that's all the Nine of Cups. Even though there might be some, you know, challenges or a little bit of a hesitation, but it's actually a very healthy and good thing that we can still have our own space, and it's not too merged, so we feel so responsible for the other person being happy, because it seems like both people here can, or feeling okay, both people here are very capable of feeling okay by themselves. And that's actually the beautiful connection here that connects you two. And it is, could really very well also be a family thing, where this is a little bit of a moment of learning interdependence, I want to say. It's like, yes, we can of course depend on each other at times, and we need each other, and we need to also interplay emotionally, and that's very healthy, but we don't want to have the responsibility for the other person's well-being all the time. And that's what's coming through here, and it's very, 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 very evened out and healthy, and I like that. And it might even be like that another person sees, and this could be in a work environment also, that you might be a little slow or tired. The Eight of Cups can just be, okay, I just invested so much into a situation, I'm just a little overwhelmed and emotionally, I don't want to say burnt out, but emotionally recovering from something, or yeah, I like to use the word an emotional hangover. You know, we just need a couple of days, or we need a little bit of time to get back into our full strengths. And somebody else might even just see that and feel that and be like, okay, I'm going to take responsibility for my own feelings and emotions, and I'm not going to put it on to another person, and you're doing the same. And that's nice. I like that. So let's see what we have. Oh, that's a lot, but one flipped out. Look at that beautiful card. So this is wonderful. Abundance. It looks like an Ace of Cups with a bunch of coins in it, so that can only be a good thing. But I will read it. I also like the number 46. It is a water card, okay, it's not an earth card. Abundance, fulfillment of the self in harmony with the world, fortunate circumstance, material abundance, and money. Oh, wow. I mean, that's really the big win here, seems like. I want to read from the book because that's maybe helpful. All the decks, of course, you can find in the description box, the decks that I'm using. Here it is. Okay. So, situated high in the mind sky, a silver chalice, I hope that's how you pronounce it, is depicted overflowing with gold coins. The chalice represents the self, or a position which is being offered to the self. The golden coins symbolize the inner riches, either literally or alchemically, as the transformation of spiritual light. Alchemically, the chalice, I'm sorry, I don't know. It's not my native language. English is not my native language. Alchemically, it represents the hermetic vessel formed of pure silver, representing the moon of the intellect, and the gold coming from this vessel is evocative of the inner sun of vitality, burning up all impurities and distilling the elixir of life. Wow, that's impressive. The image depicts a time of distribution of riches, either in the world or in the realm of the psyche, as secret teachings. Amazing. It also says, rely on the capacity of the self to bring about a fortunate change in circumstances. And it really seems like that's what's going on, because we're stepping into this, back into this earth energy here, and this manifested self in this world. So it suggests material abundance or spiritual attainment, depending on the location of this card of the Tree of Life chart. All right. I mean, that's wonderful. Love that. Love that for you. And also I love just the imagery of this deck is really beautiful deck. But this is also, of course, a very beautiful image. I want to show it maybe a little longer, that you can take it in and maybe meditate on that a little bit. Okay, my dear Taurus identifying people, I will see you soon, hopefully next time, and until then, please like, subscribe, comment, and check out the description box for all the other things I'm doing. I am a musician and artist. That is my profession, and I'm also doing my tarot card practice here, and you can check out all the other things that I'm also doing. So yeah, I hope I'll see you next time, and until then, goodbye.